Hi there and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Bailey Pegasus Grande Brindisi. These are a basic walkthrough on how to set up and operate the caravan as if you were coming on or off site. So starting off first, got this black hitch head with black lever that you have to have pulled up like so to then be able to wind out the jockey wheel onto the tow ball, causing this handle to snap down, pushing up this red button and exposing a green ring. Now occasionally this handle won't stand up by itself, in which you'll just have to lubricate the pins or just hold it up manually. You then have this breakaway cable. Legality states if you have an eye point, it has to be used. If not, wrap it around the tow bar. Handbrake is on a gas strut, so to release it, press in on the button and press down, and then to engage it, just pull it all the way back up. You'll hear several clicks, just make sure you go all the way back. Then just here we have 13 pin electric, so if you do have 7 pin adaptation, make sure to bring yourself an adapter. Jockey wheel is used to level the caravan and it sits on the outside of the A-frame whilst travelling. Then 2 points either side and 2 points at the back, we have inserts for your legs. Now the caravan itself will come with a leg winder, or alternatively you can get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill just to make it a bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up or level the caravan using your legs, simply use the stabilisation. So first up, we're using test equipment. So this is my Acrol full of clean drinking water, and this is your water pump. To remove it, press in on the handle and pull out like so. Now occasionally you may want to lubricate these seals just because it can get a bit stiff. Then you have this cap to go over the top of the Acrol to ensure no nastiness gets in. And then at the bottom we have your strainer. Now it's crucial that the strainer sits at the absolute bottom of the barrel to allow the maximum potential of water to come in, as otherwise you can get airlocks. Then you've just got to push this in until you hear a click, and that's correctly in. We have your flue here, which is used to get clean air in and out of your boiler. Don't have to do anything with this except make sure it's nice, clean and tidy. Gas locker can fit 2 6-kilo bottles. I'd always recommend using propane instead of butane, just because it has a better performance in winter. Now my test bottle has a black gas hose. Black gas hoses will run for 5 years, orange will run for 10. And that connects onto this regulator just here. What you want to do is hand tighten that as much as physically possible and then just nip it up using a spanner. You don't want it ridiculously tight, as there is an O-ring onside the actual hose. Too much pressure can cause it to crack and break. Motor mover will be gone over on collection. And then you have these 2 points here where you can open up the flaps, and that's where your water's going to come out of. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipe to feed it to a waste master that you can empty out at the appropriate point on site. And lastly, we have your toilet function. So we have your flush tank just here, which has a capacity to hold around 12 litres of water. However, I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10, as you don't want to overfill the compartment. You could also add some pink chemical, which works as a bleach without being corrosive and makes it smell a bit nicer. Now, as well for that, if you are using pink chemical, you need a cap full at most, because it is a lot denser than water and it can clog the internals. This here is your cassette. To remove it, press up on the handle and pull out towards you. Now this handle does also extend out and up and can be used similar to a carry-on suitcase. What you want to do is twist this head to the side, open up this cap like so. You then want to tilt, and at the same time as tilting, continually pressing your vent button. My recommendation after that is to open up this compartment, feed in some fresh water, give it a bit of a shake, and again tilt and vent. Then on this cap you have measurements in both imperial and metric. That's for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes into there, twist the head back to the side, twist it in like so, and then you'll want to push it in so that the orange handle sits behind the white teeth. Then you don't want to travel with either of these too full, so just up here got a little bung to drain off any remaining water from the system. The caravan itself will be fully drained off before you leave with it. Underneath the bed just here we have your battery box just here, and then you can see right there you have the ignition point for the actual motor mover itself, which will be gone over on collection. As it is a baby, if you ever need to get a replacement battery, the maximum height it can be is 130 millimeters. Anything higher than that, it's going to stick out a little bit. Doesn't matter too much because it is under the bed, but if you want it to fit nice and snug, 130. Trips and fuses are in the cupboard next to the bed. All the trips in the upright position and all your fuses in the correct position. I'd always recommend carrying some extras across with that. Underneath the right hand side seat just here, we have the boiler. Now the boiler itself you don't have to do anything with, however you have this yellow drain valve just here. Facing in the position as it is now, that is allowing in the flow of water. However, switch it up to the vertical position, which is also how you will collect the caravan. It will drain off any remaining water inside the system. November to March, have that up permanently unless you're actively using the caravan, and anytime you come off site, give the caravan a drain off as well. Then just here we have your main control panel. So you have your main on and off switch just here. You have your pump button just here. So what you have to do is press that down like so, and then you can come over to your tap, open it up on both hot and cold. I'm only opening up on cold at the moment just because I don't have the trimmer panel on. And what you're after is a nice steady continuous stream like so. It may be a case that when you first come to use it, you have a couple of airlocks, so you get a couple of coughs and splutters to start off with. That's completely natural, but what you're after is just something like this. Now, if the coughs and splutters continue for more than 10 seconds, check the drain valve, check the acroll, and just check the pump as well. But this is what you're after. So about 30 seconds, which is about now. Then when you come to drain off, first turn off the pump, then flick up your valve. It's going to drop out the water straight onto the floor, and open up your tap, so any residual water is just going to leak out. You have interior lights and awning light just here, so just go outside and check. You can see awning light on just there. So super simple to use. Battery test, main on and off, interior lights, exterior lights, water pump. And just here we have your hob, grill and oven, all of which operates on gas minus the electric plate. Electric plate, spin to whatever mark and it will get to temperature. Everything else, press in on the dial, twist it to the side and press in on the igniter. Now it may be a case that these will light up and then cut out, or they may just take a while to light when you first come to use them. That's completely natural, that is just the gas making its way through the system. This is what it looks like when they're all nice and lit. As you can see, all burners nice and lit there. It's going to be the same concept for your grill. As you can see there, grill all nice and lit. And finally, your oven. Now for your oven, make sure that these trays are not intruding, as otherwise it can affect the igniter. But there you can see, all nice and lit there as well. Any other real thing to note is that if you're travelling with a gas bottle, make sure the bottle itself is off. And make sure this glass plate is down as well, but don't put it down until all of these are nice and cold. And just here we have your fridge operation. So you've got three different choices of the source. Mains, 13 pin whilst towing, that is not leisure battery, that is only 13 pin, or gas. Now for mains, just switch it to whatever and you'll see blue lights on. You also have a temperature gauge just here. Thicker the bar, the more power, the faster it's going to chill. However, for gas, what you need to do is switch that down to the bottom like so. Then this also doubles up with this to ignite the fridge, and what you want is this orange bar to float over into the green. You need it to sit firmly in the green and then let go, so you have to press and hold in fairly firmly on both of these for around about 30 seconds. So it's going to float over, just need to let it go in. So this is what it looks like when it's in the green, and there you can see all nice and firmly in the green from either side. Then if I were to switch it over to mains, it's going to drop out, and even if I were to switch it quickly back, it's going to drop out itself. So a few things to note when setting up the fridge: make sure that you have the door shut, as it can cause it to trip out, and it does take around 4 hours to fully chill. Then just here we have your toilet function. So lift up the lid, press in the button, and you can hear that motor. That motor is what will push through any water across the actual system. To remove the waste, there's a handle at the bottom. Press the handle away from you and pull it back towards you to actually be able to remove the cassette toilet. When there's a red light on there, that's telling you to go and empty the cassette.